Fadel Gheit is with us. He joins us from Oppenheimer. Fadel, good to have you with us. What are the implications for the death of Osama bin Laden for global commodity markets, particularly when we look at what happens in places like the Middle East and our supply of oil?
Well, it really didn't have any impact on crude oil prices. They are being flat, no change from Friday. Basically, what the market is looking at here is the unrest throughout the Middle East. The Osama bin Laden is really not a big factor here. Afghanistan and Pakistan, they really have no oil to have export, but most people are looking at what terrorists can do to disrupt oil flow from the Persian Gulf, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and elsewhere. And that is what really the market has been focused on, not necessarily what terrorists are doing in Afghanistan and Pakistan.
But without the leadership, Fidel, without the leadership of Osama bin Laden, does that make terrorist activity more difficult to either plan or motivate?
Yes, definitely. There is no question in my mind that we are better off today than we were 2 or 3 days ago. But Osama bin Laden is not the only one. This is like an octopus. This is not like a snake and we cut off the head. This is like an octopus with so many legs. You chop one is still wiggling. But at the end of the day, I think we have them on the run. I think what we've done is terrific, and we should do more. But more important than that, we should begin to support the movement in the rest of the Middle East. I think eventually, when we get rid of dictators in this part of the world, there will be less anarchy, there will be less radicalization of young people, and there will be more freedom. So these people can express themselves in their own societies instead of coming to our shores and committing these crimes.
Fadel Gheit, the State Department issuing a warning today for travel by U.S. citizens in many parts of the world. Do you feel that that's temporary and that the standing of the United States will change in the future?
Absolutely. People have more respect for the U.S. today than they had 2 or 3 days ago. We mean business. Don't mess with the U.S., and that's exactly what people are saying right now. You can run, but you cannot hide, and we'll finally get you. And that was a commendable operation.
Does this mean that other terrorist organizations perhaps will think twice and perhaps accept what Hillary Clinton described today as taking up the democratic process of change rather than seeking it through violence?
Oh, absolutely. There is no question in my mind. This is a new chapter. I think, as I said before, we should support the freedom movement in these countries because there will be less emphasis on committing terrorist acts outside of their own country. They should take care of their own business in their own country at their own terms. But less support to dictators in this part of the world, I think, will serve us in the long run tremendously.
Fidel, what does this do to President Obama's personal standing, at least among the investors that you deal with on a regular basis?
Oh, absolutely. His stocks must be very high up today. I would say, in general, I would say people are going to go back to support the president, that he means business, and we basically are on the right track.
We're speaking with Fadel Gheit of Oppenheimer about the implications of the killing of Osama bin Laden. Fadel, you were speaking earlier about the personal standing of President Obama now that this has been announced, the death of Osama bin Laden. And the investors that you talk to, is it possible that the president could use this and use this leverage for things as mundane, let's say, as the budget or an alternative energy program? Is this something he can use, that popularity, at home?
Absolutely. He is very skilled at it. I think the whole perception will change. Market sentiments will change, and voters' sentiments will definitely change. The president means business. We've been through a very difficult time in this country and the whole world. We have 2 wars and other conflicts. We have a market that collapsed 3 years ago. We are in a much better shape than we were 2 years ago. So people who are not giving the president full credit will have to look back on what he has done.
Fadel, you've survived these past 10 years, as all of us, and you now have some kind of personal reaction to this particular event. Give us some context. 10 years, it's a long time in life. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. Obviously, that was the low point. Obviously, 10 years ago, I was only a few blocks away from the World Trade Center. It was one of the bleakest days of my life. And it really, brought me and my colleagues and the market and the whole country down for a long period of time. And today is a day that people will have to mark on their calendar as an end of a chapter that we've waited for so long. So it is a big day. It's a big day in this country, a big day in the Middle East and everywhere else.
All right, I want to thank you very much. Fadel Gheit joining us from Oppenheimer, talking about oil and the nation in the last 10 years.